The plate slipped from her hands and shattered against the diner floor just as the bell over the door rang. "Are you kidding me right now?" a man's voice snapped. Maya froze. Rain dripped from her hair onto the cracked tiles as every head in the diner turned. The storm outside roared like it was still chasing her, but inside the silence was worse. "I'm sorry," she said quickly, bending to clean up the mess. "It was an accident." "Everything with you is an accident," her manager barked. "Late again, wet again. Now breaking dishes?" Maya straightened slowly. "I was helping someone." "That's not my problem," he said. "This isn't a charity house." A few customers shifted uncomfortably. One woman whispered, "She's always so kind." The manager pointed toward the door. "Clock out. Don't come back." Maya swallowed. She didn't argue. She untied her apron, folded it neatly, and placed it on the counter. Her hands trembled, but her voice didn't. "I did the right thing," she said quietly. The bell rang again as she stepped back into the rain. Across the street, a black luxury car sat, parked beneath a flickering streetlight. Inside, a man watched her go, his fingers tightening around the steering wheel. "That's her," he murmured. The night before, Maya had been driving home after a double shift when she saw the hazard lights blinking wildly on the side of the road. A man stood beside the car, soaked through, his phone dark, his shoulders slumped. She almost drove past. Almost. "You okay?" she'd called through her cracked window. He looked up, surprised. "I didn't think anyone would stop." "You look like you need help." "I do," he admitted, "and I don't expect it." She hesitated, then unlocked the door. "Get in before you freeze." During the drive, he'd been quiet, not cold, just careful. His coat was expensive, but worn, his voice calm, thoughtful. "I'm Maya," she said eventually. "Daniel," he replied. It wasn't his real name. At her tiny apartment, she handed him a towel and poured instant soup into 2 chipped mugs. "This is all I've got," she said apologetically. He smiled faintly. "It's more than enough." They sat at opposite ends of the table, steam curling between them. "Why'd you stop?" he asked. She shrugged. "Because someone once helped me when I had nothing." He studied her like he was memorizing something. When he left before dawn, he paused at the door. "You didn't ask who I was." "You needed help," she said. "That was enough." Back in the present, Daniel stepped out of the car as Maya disappeared down the sidewalk. Rain soaked his suit, but he didn't move. She chose kindness, he said to himself, without knowing. Inside the diner, the manager was already boasting about standards when the door opened again. Daniel walked in. Conversation died instantly. He removed his coat slowly, water pooling beneath his shoes, and met the manager's eyes. "I'm looking for Maya," he said calmly. The manager frowned. "Who?" "The woman you just fired." A cook spoke up. "She's the best worker we've got." Daniel nodded. "I know." The manager laughed nervously. "Sir, if you're here to complain." "I'm here because I own this place." The words landed hard. The manager went pale. Daniel took a step forward. "And because the woman you humiliated last night gave me shelter when she had no reason to." The door swung open again. Maya stood there, breathless, rain-soaked, confused. "You asked for me?" Daniel turned. Their eyes met. For a moment, the diner disappeared. "Maya," he said softly, "I owe you more than you know." The diner felt smaller with Daniel standing there, calm and immovable, while the manager's confidence drained from his face. You own this place?" the manager stammered. Daniel didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "I do, and I'd like an explanation." Maya stood near the door, clutching her jacket, unsure if she was supposed to speak or disappear again. The manager cleared his throat. "She was late, again. Unprofessional. Daniel turned to Maya. Why were you late? She hesitated, then met his eyes. I helped someone last night. His car broke down in the storm. Daniel's gaze softened for a fraction of a second. That's not an excuse, the manager snapped. This is a business. Daniel looked back at him. So is leadership, and you've failed at both. A murmur rippled through the diner. Daniel gestured toward a booth. Maya, please sit. She obeyed slowly, heart pounding. He sat across from her, folding his hands like this was the most important meeting of his day. Tell me how you're treated here, he said. The manager scoffed. Sir, with all due respect, I wasn't speaking to you. Maya took a breath. I work doubles. I cover shifts. I don't complain. Her voice steadied as she spoke. I just try to do my job. Daniel nodded. And last night? She gave a small, embarrassed smile. Last night I just saw someone cold and stranded. The room stayed quiet. Daniel stood. You're reinstated, effective immediately. The manager's mouth fell open. You can't. And, Daniel continued, you'll be assisting her for the rest of the week. Any objections will be noted. Maya blinked. Assisting me? He met her eyes again. I trust your judgment. Something unspoken passed between them. Gratitude, surprise, a pull, neither acknowledged. Over the next few days, Daniel kept showing up, not hovering, just present. He sat at the counter, ordered coffee, asked questions about the menu, about Maya. You always this busy? He asked one afternoon. Always, she said, smiling despite herself. Keeps the lights on. He studied her. You deserve more than survival. She laughed softly. Everyone does. Late one evening after closing, she found him still there. You don't have to stay, she said. I know, he replied. I want to. They walked out together into the cool night. The rain had stopped, leaving the streets glossy and quiet. You never told me what you do, she said. He smiled. I invest, manage things. That's vague. Intentionally. She raised an eyebrow but didn't push. You're different from most people who come in here. How so? They look through us, she said. You actually look at me. He stopped walking. Because you matter. The words lingered between them, heavy and sincere. Inside the diner, the manager watched from the shadows, jaw tight. The missing money started that same week. At first, it was small, a few dollars off, then more. Maya double-checked receipts, recounted the drawer. Stayed late, Daniel noticed. You're distracted, he said one evening. I think someone's trying to make me look careless. His expression hardened. I believe you. You don't even ask why. I've seen who you are. Something warm and dangerous stirred in her chest. Daniel, who are you, really? He hesitated. Someone who knows what it's like to be underestimated. The next morning, Daniel installed cameras. Quietly. 2 nights later, the truth surfaced. The footage played in Daniel's office as Maya stood beside him, hands clasped. The manager appeared on screen, glancing around before slipping cash into his pocket. Maya covered her mouth. Daniel closed his eyes briefly. I wanted to be wrong. When the manager was confronted, he shouted, accused, deflected. You set me up, he yelled at Maya. Daniel stepped between them. Enough. Police lights flashed outside minutes later. As the manager was led away, he twisted back. You think you're better than me now? Maya didn't answer. Daniel did. She already was. After the door closed, silence filled the diner. Maya exhaled shakily. Thank you. He looked at her, really looked at her. You don't need saving. You just needed to be seen. Their eyes held. For the first time, Maya wondered if the man who'd walked into her life, soaked and silent, had changed her world in ways neither of them had planned. 6 months changed everything. The diner no longer smelled like stress and burnt coffee. Laughter filled the space now. The windows gleamed. Customers lingered instead of rushing out. And Maya moved through it all with quiet confidence, greeting regulars by name, guiding new staff with patience she'd once needed herself. Daniel stood near the counter, watching her without interruption. "You're staring again," she said, catching him. "I'm observing," he replied. "There's a difference." She smiled. "You've been doing that a lot lately." "Because you keep proving me right." After the scandal, Daniel had offered her a promotion. She'd tried to refuse. "I'm not qualified," she'd said. "You're qualified by character," he'd answered. Now she managed the diner, and more than that, she had rebuilt it. They spent long evenings talking after closing, about childhood, about failure, about loneliness that didn't care how much money someone had. One night she asked the question she'd been holding back. "Why did you really keep coming here?" Daniel leaned against the counter. "Because you didn't treat me like someone important." "That sounds backwards." "It isn't," he said. "You treated me like someone human." Silence followed, comfortable but charged. "I didn't know who you were," she said softly. "I was hoping you never would," he admitted. She studied him. "That scares you?" "Yes." "Good," she said. "It means this is real." The night he finally told her everything, they were sitting in the empty diner, lights low. "I own more than this place," he said. "A lot more." She waited. "I never wanted that to be the reason someone stayed." She reached across the table. "It isn't." His breath caught. "Maya, I loved you before I knew," she said. "That hasn't changed." Neither of them moved. Then slowly, carefully, he took her hand. "This isn't a rescue story," she said. "Promise me that." "I promise," he replied. "This is a partnership." The diner reopened the next morning with a new sign. Daniel watched as Maya unlocked the door, sunlight spilling inside. "You ready?" he asked. She nodded. "Always." Weeks later, she saw someone familiar across the street. The former manager was washing car windows outside a gas station, shoulders slumped, eyes tired. Maya hesitated, then crossed over. He stiffened when he saw her. "Here to laugh?" "No," she said. She handed him an envelope. "What's this?" "A donation. In your name," she said. "To help people who need a second chance." He looked down, confused. "Why?" "Because someone once gave me one." She turned and walked away before he could respond. Back at the diner, Daniel watched her approach. "You didn't have to do that," he said gently. "I wanted to," she replied. He smiled, something deep and proud in his eyes. "That's why I fell in love with you." She paused. "You just said that." "I've been saying it in other ways for months." The bell above the door chimed as customers entered. Maya stepped behind the counter, glancing back at Daniel. "Ready to work, boss?" she teased. He laughed. "Only if you're beside me." She was. And for the first time, love didn't feel like a risk. It felt like home. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more billionaire romance stories, and comment below, because your support helps bring these stories to life.